Let's go over to Jason at USAC Racing. Jason, you see a lot of race teams. You've been in business a long time. I think the very first time you and I met were literally back in the Lucas Oil off-road racing days.
Yeah.
Um, I was hanging out with Kevin Miller. I forget what race it was. You've seen
Yeah,
off-road racing, short course, late model, sprint car racing. What are some, when it comes to sprint car racing versus, let's say, drag racing and off-road, we have wealthier teams because to compete
for
at the
sure.
top levels, there's some big money there. But talk about sprint car racing, a lot of people without, middle income, blue collar, they
Yeah.
can build a car and they can race, and it reaches grassroots America. So the sponsors that might be attracted to that type of racing are also different. What have you seen now that you're with USAC Racing that it creates value for teams and drivers on the call who are looking for sponsors?
Yeah, for sure. And can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good. Audio's good.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. But no, first off, I want to say thanks, Alex, for having me, and what you guys just heard from JR and Brian, that's some incredible advice. And I think there's probably a lot of people that would say, I want to get to Brian Brown's level. And, the advice that I would start out with right out of the box is look at you. Before you're thinking, I need a sponsor, I need this, you look inner. I mean, how do I look at the track? How's my uniform? Is it filthy? Do I look like I just changed the oil in it and half of it spilled on me? Is my car dirty? Is my trailer dirty? And I don't care if you have just a little tag along trailer, make that the cleanest tag along trailer in the pit area. And so really start with that. Look at yourself and look at, the appearance that you're giving. And one thing that I would say, and I think Brian could probably even back this up on the years he's been around, but if you're at the local track level and you're starting your racing, a lot of your first sponsors come right out of that grandstand. I mean, it's a fan of the sport that is there watching, and then you have to impress them. And so the advice I'm giving you is, when you're at a race, do everything you can to get on the PA, do everything you can to interact with the fans, because again, a lot of times that fan is going to be the sponsor of your car. I mean, I think if you're familiar with like Avanti Windows, Jerry Petty was a fan sitting in the grandstands, and next thing you know, he's sponsoring 6 or 7 other guys. So that's one of the pieces of advice that I would give. And like I said, when you're at the track, you're working with that track. If it's a weekly track you're running with, or if it's a sanctioning body you're running with, you work with them, because every sanctioning body will work with a driver and their sponsor to help elevate the show. So if it's making their experience at the track better, hey, we'll work with them to get them the best seats in the house. If it's going to help your team and help you get up and down the road, we're game. We're going to help with that. So again, the starting point, I can't stress that enough, is look at yourself, look at your team, look at how do your crew members work, how do you treat people at the track. If you're, out there bad mouthing everybody, running over everybody on the racetrack, causing fights and things like that in the pit area, I hate to say it, but you're out. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
you're not going to get sponsors that way. You have to act the right way at the racetrack. So starting with that, I know we've got other topics to hit on, so I won't go any further. But that's where I would start with is, look at you, your team, and how you guys act.